Cool.
Okay.
We're live now.
Yeah, should be live on the main channel any second now. All right, we're live. Cool. Dude,
Cool, 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 cool.
I'm did
Kicking
Black
off stream with the yawn is crazy.
Yeah, I'm surprised it carried over. I thought I, fully yawned myself out beforehand, but, here we are.
Huh.
And as we await fuck, we didn't do the Twitter and YouTube thing. The YouTube thing. What is wrong with me?
Yeah, the Twitter and YouTube. That little thing.
Yeah, the
Um,
the entire like marketing. Look at me, a
hmm,
buffoon. Simply, simple as
yep.
buffoon.
Alrighty. Gonna be me versus the internet today. And I do need my connection. All right. Let me pull up stream on my phone so I can see chat and stuff.
It's not even loading on your phone.
No, it's not loading on my computer. It should load up on my phone. I hope it does.
Oh damn,
It
dude.
does, yeah.
All right.
Yep,
Let's
yep,
see.
yep. I got 21 people in here already. What's up, guys? What is up? 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 What is up?
How's it going?
MKK already is crazy.
Oh my god, we
Um,
just started, dude.
listen. We will save MKK discussions for later. All right, chat. I'll give you guys your fix in a bit. Anyways, how are y'all doing on this fine Sunday? Chapters dropped.
Yeah.
You know,
The honored one. You looking for a lawsuit, bud?
what's up?
Some guy in chat is named the honored one.
Oh, damn, that's funny. Um, yeah,
All
a
right.
lawsuit might be impending. Don't worry about it. We'll
Yeah.
just rob you of everything.
Also, Liv, thank you for your enthusiasm, but please stop threatening other chatters.
Oh,
She says, anyone with Maki hate, bring that hate my way. I'll cure you of that real quick.
hold on. That's funny. Um, yeah, she's gonna shoot you guys in chat
Uh,
if you just actually
in a
just shoot
video
them in chat if
game.
they disagree with me.
In a video game.
Yeah, obviously in a video game. Well, I literally said in chat. Um, but yes, in a video game as well.
In
Double stack it up.
Minecraft.
In the best game ever? Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dude, you're mentally
Um,
ill if you think that. Right,
mm,
community tab. Dude, I even had my phone. All right, I did it on Twitter. Community tab. And
all
then,
right.
as we slowly roll into this, dude, should should we tell them about what we're trying to do right now, or keep it until after we've like figured out all the kinks?
Uh, after,
Okay,
after.
right. I was thinking the same. Okay.
Yeah. Review it way better when you actually know what you're talking about, know what you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
I figure yeah we might be jumping the gun a little bit, right
for
now.
sure.
But hey,
Yeah.
you know, how we move.
We move.
How have
We
you guys
move
been?
regardless.
Did y'all tune in for the stream we did on No Ops channel? The fucking JJK Reverie, the higher ups.
The higher ups. The higher ups. Um,
Yes, sir.
let's see. Maki so powerful. Finna hit this story real quick. Y'all gotta delay the JJK talk. Hit the I'm assuming store. Um, hmm. The honored one with the Gojo profile picture. Interesting. Yeah. A lawsuit actually may be coming your way, buddy. No offense.
Hey, JJK Hyperfixation. Oh, dude, thanks for reminding me. Yo, he's the guy that made our awesome like banger new channel banner. If you guys haven't already noticed it, please minimize this window, check it out right now. It looks amazing. So let me just quickly get a link to his channel. So we can put him in the description for this video. Fucking great work that he's done, and he's also the guy that made the fan art, you know. So
Yup. Thank you for the banner.
and
Cursey
the
for the
fan
fan
art,
art.
yeah, and thank
Yeah,
you doubly for the fan art. It means a lot to me personally.
yes.
So yeah, hold on, let me Let me get your. Oh, you want your Twitter, right? Not your. I'm an idiot. Uh, I was gonna link his YouTube.
Hmm.
Yeah. What is wrong with me?
Many things. Remember, I totally forgot. We got to talk about Shiggy first. Yep, yep, yep. We are gonna be. It's no Black Clover this week, so it's gonna be a My Hero and JJK week this week.
Yes, sir. And I'm hoping the My Hero one will be
Mhm.
a little shorter.
Yeah.
Uh, so, uh, JJK Hyperfixation, man. I linked your Twitter and your YouTube in the description. Check him out. You know he does great artwork. Thanks
Mm-hmm.
again. Um,
100%, 100% appreciate it. Let's see.
some. All right. CEO of misogyny has uterus domain. I didn't even think of that. That's hilarious.
Yep, yep, yep. All right, all right. So,
Let's just get
chat, what do
into
you
it.
guys think of these chapters?
Yeah.
Or not? Yes, let's get into it.
No, I mean this is
I
technically us getting into it with chat.
got you, got you. Undermine me again like that on stream, buddy. We're gonna have a talk. But yeah, so I am curious, chat, what you guys thought about the chapters, stuff like that. We're gonna get into My Hero in a bit. Um, a brief. Let's give them a brief. Like, okay, My Hero and JJK. No score, just thoughts. What are you thinking, Creams?
My Hero, I say solid 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10. JJK, 8 out of 10.
Interesting, interesting. Okay, fair enough, fair enough. Like I said, no, it's okay. We're still working on the brain fund. We'll get you those brain cells soon enough, buddy. Um, yeah, I think I would. Interestingly low score for My Hero, considering your excitement for it on Twitter.
It wasn't really excitement about it because like that panel that I posted on Twitter that I was excited about was Shigaraki antagonizing Deku, being like, "Haha, you're late. Your friend's dead. LMAO, get fucked, get wrecked." Ratio, and then it was immediately undercut by fucking Mirio giving him like a power of friendship speech, which yeah, I know it's like whatever, it's cool. But at the same time, I just always think Shigaraki and All for One's dialogue is so like when they break the fourth wall a little bit with like giving villain dialogue like intentionally is just so fucking hard, right? It's a great way to like get under a character like Deku's skin and absolutely like fall for it every time, right? And
hmm
I think just I wanted to see like because Horikoshi always pops off with like the horror art when he's like allowed to like really exercise that muscle, and seeing like Deku get like all mad was so
hmm
awesome. And I was like, okay, this is gonna be so cool. He's got like the Nomu esque eyes going on. He's like he looks absolutely sick. And then it was like, being a hero.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. So do you want to just jump into this chapter then, since we've already kind of started talking about it anyways? Um,
Oh yeah. So
yeah.
I guess everybody welcome to episode 29, right? Of
Yes.
the greatest podcast on earth. I have a siren, so you got to tag in, bud.
Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome. In this week's installation, we're going to be talking about My Hero and JJK. For this My Hero chapter, I would say that it was pretty solid. I was pretty solid. We get a little bit of a like a recap of how Deku got here. We see the people that were helping Stars and Stripes like circle back with their fucking fighter jets and like act as this little like these launching pads for Deku to get there faster. Get to Shigaraki, kicks his ass. And overall, I mean, the chapter kind of focuses on Deku's reaction to all of the carnage um, that Shigaraki has brought. And like Cream said, we get a cool rage mode, whatever, and then he gets calmed down by Mirio. And we basically get into it with Deku basically calling out to Shigaraki or calling out to All for One, asking if Shigaraki is still in there. So not very many hands thrown just yet. However, we're basically there. Deku squaring off. Um, Deku is indeed squaring off. Prepared and ready.
Yeah. Sorry. As per usual, the sirens are making me fight for my life here. Ironically enough.
Hmm.
And I sorry. Wow, man, chat. I didn't think. I just want to address something. Okay, this is important. Hey, hey, Liv, your slander is very unappreciated. You see this chat about creams. Doesn't that count as character development? I didn't think you were into that kind of stuff in your manga. Where are you getting this opinion of me? Who?
It
What?
was an old stream, buddy. Anyways.
What?
Oh,
Did
yeah,
I?
yeah, 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 yeah. Anyways, no, it wasn't a podcast stream. You joined call for one of my Twitch streams,
Oh,
and we were talking about, and you said something very close to that.
hey,
Um,
Liv,
Probably a deep callback, a fucking hidden media, whatever the fuck.
dude, I'm worried because
Yeah.
like, Liv, I'm not willing to get into a fucking evidence off with you because I lost the last battle and I'm not willing to run it back. I'm just not, bro. I completely embarrassed myself. I think last episode, trying to pull
Yeah.
those receipts up, and I just like posted some other person's, but in my defense, right? Live harder. How is that not a unique username? Like, that is wild to me.
No, no. Bro said, yeah, I did just post some random person's Twitter on stream, and that's crazy. That was hilarious. So that back and forth, because I definitely was like, I don't know. I was really like, I'm gonna just let y'all argue. I'm gonna pretend I believed whoever was right.
Dude.
That's a smart thing to do, guys.
Yeah, I'm real glad you took a media position. Fuck me, I still haven't gotten over it. I don't know.
Yeah.
Have you been like typical BR, right? Spiking Gotham's water supply yet again. Like,
Um. Yeah. Sure, man. Sure. He knows. We're gonna have to add a bit more poison.
uh,
Um.
Carpooch, bonjour, Honored One's iceberg type beat. I'd love to see an Honored One's iceberg, man. Because you have to understand, right? We don't have enough, in my opinion, lore for like a full Honored One's iceberg, with one exception, right? And that is everything we've said in our pre-recorded episodes about the recording process, right? If you'll recall, right, to those keen Honored Ones listeners, there has been there have been 3 lost episodes of the Honored Ones podcast, all 100% because of our negligence. There's no like it's not like BR, doing his like play-by-play favorite racial slurs of all time tier list, right? Nothing
mhm.
nothing like that real, right? I mean, like, we just like forgot to turn one of the mics on, or I just forgot to edit it, and like the timing of it passed, or it just there's the Honored One's iceberg, right, is just severely limited by word of mouth of me and BR. I think like if we ever get employees or whatever to help us, right, and they're like, oh yeah, I've been working with the Honored Ones for years on end as their cameraman. You won't believe the stuff I've seen. I think that's when the iceberg shit can really start, and I'm looking forward to that day.
I bet you are, man. I bet you are. Finally, you'll be free to like admit to all of your crimes. Um, in
Honored,
any case, chat. Have you noticed the fact that sirens are always going off near Cream's house? Coincidence? I think not.
bro, don't just
Um,
blatantly plagiarize Yuffie's joke, bro. You didn't. You're not
no, I am gonna plagiarize it.
shamelessly. Wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, exactly. I saw that in chat. I was like, damn, that's good. Stealing it. Thank you,
Bro,
by the
that
way.
is a typical Broken Ronin move. You gotta hold on to your purse, Yuffie.
You say that as a joke, but that actually is my bread and butter.
Dude, don't
Um,
say that as like a brag.
it's not a brag. It's a statement of truth. It's a fact.
That's wild.
You know,
Anyway,
be careful, y'all.
I think before we like do our proper like deep dive into each respective chapter, I want you guys to like go off with these likes. All right, we gotta get some likes in the stream. All right, really give it a boost. We're gonna try to power through podcast this week because I have to essentially run out the door the second I press stop streaming. So we're gonna try to get through this as effectively, as affectionately, as lovingly, but affirmatively as possible. Right, BR?
No. Yeah, sure, I guess. Maybe minus a couple of adjectives here or there. Um, but yeah. Okay. Cool. Run up the likes or whatever. So my hero chapter, I would say my biggest problem with it, because you know me, always have to hate on my hero.
Mm.
I feel like Deku could have overcome that like initial anger reaction on his own and learned from last time. Because it's like obviously the last time he confronted Shigaraki and he saw Bakugo was injured. he did the same thing. He freaked out, one for all spiked, blah 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 blah.
Mm,
Right, and that kind of he got slapped in the face immediately after that happened.
mm.
Um, I felt like it would have been a nice show of progress or development on his part if we saw him like start to kind of like feel that like that rising emotion, but remember one of the past one for all users like their little pieces of advice, right? Which was he remembers it later in the chapter, but it's after Miro calms him down, and it's basically like it's like yeah, anger being angry is fine, but using that rage properly and directing it is the most important part. Minor, I guess, minor-ish nitpick that Mirio had to be the one to calm him down, or that he had to be calmed down by someone externally. But it would have been, I feel like, a nice show of. It would have been a nice show of, like progression for his character.
Uh, I mean, look, man, I get what you're saying on paper, but with Mirio, this I think would have hit a lot harder if he wasn't twerking on Shigaraki last chapter.
Huh.
I don't know. Like, am I crazy for thinking maybe, just maybe, Horikoshi's like not too great at juggling the goofy serious line with Mirio, because it's like I think he was in full tears. That was a serious like shonen moment for Mirio, right? He flashed back to his dead mentor. Like he had like the whole all the tropes were lining up for him to do this, and like the end result is just like uh, 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 WAP dance. Like, am I crazy? Like, come on. You're telling me that was like, oh yeah, this shit is gas for you?
Yep, it was fire. Peak fiction for real.
Yeah,
You're on your own, buddy. You versus Chet on that one.
of course. I get this
Um,
from the fucking Miwa guy. That's wild.
oh, do you want to start the conversation, or do you want to backtrack on that? Because we can start that conversation. We can go there with Miwa. Like, listen, we can go there, buddy. We can go there.
All right.
Me and the rest of my allies will
Allies.
be ready to fight you.
Don't you
Yeah.
mean followers, people you've led astray, that kind of thing?
They are my allies and my followers. What do you mean?
I hate how
They
I'm
are one
agreeing
and the
with Creams
same.
today. What is happening, bro? You should be singing my praises from the heavens. What are you talking about, bro?
Huh.
That's wild. Anyway,
Yeah.
do you want to like harp or do you want to discuss the My Hero one a little bit more? Because I think it was a pretty cut and dry chapter. Just Deku finally getting to the battlefield, which we've been wanting for the last 4 or 5 months. So I'm just really happy about it. Um,
Yeah. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean, it's pretty solid. His entrance was cool last chapter. Coming over to this chapter, he kicks him. Shigaraki's like, damn, he get a little bit of a stat boost. He get a little, he beefed up a little bit.
yeah.
Um,
I'm really excited to find out what that
yeah.
last quirk is now.
Yeah, I can't say that I am that excited to see what it is. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess I want to see it so like Deku has like a fighting chance. But yeah, I don't know. I haven't been really excited. I haven't like been super amped to see what that final quirk is. Just because outside of like a handful, they haven't been that great. Um,
Um,
they haven't been that cool. Like that, like Black Whip is alright. Fajin is kind of cool. Um,
float's okay.
Float is okay. Danger Sense is very like all of these are useful, but I wouldn't necessarily say they're cool to be revealed as like extra quirks he has. You know what I mean?
Liv, that is an insane comparison that you just made. What's the last quirk equals where is the One Piece? No.
Shit.
No.
In terms of narrative importance, yeah,
It's
and in
no.
terms of cultural impact, yeah.
You're
Let's start a dialogue.
dude, you baiting me like this shouldn't work as well as it does, and I hate that it does. I hate
It's
my
not even bait. I'm being so
you're
serious right now.
you're just not. You're
I
simply
am.
not
I am.
you're a deeply unserious,
Listen, okay,
sick
okay,
individual.
Chat and Cream's hot take. When Deku reveals this quirk, nobody's gonna even care about what the One Piece is anymore. Let's talk. Let's talk.
Dude, how do you say this shit with a straight face? Like, how do you, in front of, like, on the Lord's Day, BR, on this?
Lying on my own day is not that big of a deal. You know.
Okay, wow. Just the sheer, can we get much higher? Yes, let's go. Oh, man. All right, overall, what would you give the My Hero chapter?
It's a seven. Seven out of 10.
Out of curiosity, what did you give the Miriosi chapter last week?
7 out of 10.
I get it. I get what you're all about now. You know, I'm really I always figured you were okay. Is
Interesting. Deku's introduction back into the war arc is it was simply too cool to not give it its due. You
All
know
right.
what I mean?
Yeah, I'm not mad at it. I guess like the speech really kind of killed the vibe for me, but you know, I could
Yeah.
see why to somebody like you, it wouldn't be it would be an 8 out of 10. Yeah. Anyway,
I said 7 out of 10. Bro can't even listen to me properly. That's
how?
crazy.
Oh, sorry. I guess my brain auto corrected to account for your taste historically.
Yeah, chat. Please let's all band together. We can help him
Unionize.
out.
I dare you.
You okay? Do you?
No, no, no.
Listen,
I don't.
you know
That
how
was a
yeah
bluff,
yeah yeah
bro. That
you
was
you
all.
you know how seriously I take challenges, buddy.
Dude, you were.
Um,
No, you're unreasonably petty in my opinion. If I had to give your petty feat on the fucking person power scale. Wait, Creams, did that vid make you understand how powerful Miwa is? No, it just showed me how truly deranged this guy is.
he's
Um,
a hater. Don't worry.
yeah, Jujutsu peaks in. All right, I think we got our scores for My Hero out of the way. Let's get into
Yep, yep, yep.
JJK. All right.
All right.
So, so
What do you think?
fight
Thoughts?
fight's finally over. Okay, can I just say, it feels great. It feels truly splendid that this fight is finally over, because it's not that I thought it was dragging on, but it's that I was getting a little restless with the chapter 200 being right around the corner, and this fight
Okay.
seemingly not wrapping up. And I was like, dude, I know it. I am a firm believer that Gege 200 is gonna be a big deal. All right, I've been doubted, I've been scorned. The same shit that they did with Galileo, they did even worse with me. Right? That's what was happening. Right? They called me a madman.
Mm,
Right? And much like Galileo and much like Thanos, I ultimately turned out to be the hero. Now,
yeah, sure,
do
man.
now here's the thing, right? When chapter 200 rolls around, and it's the biggest chapter of all time, JJK sales absolutely like dwarf One Piece, Harry Potter, etc.
Mm.
Do I just gloat for the rest of my life in pieces? Do I just bring it up casually in conversation, or do I try to make a video about it, like just to kind of constantly remind people I am that guy? Gege's brain, right, is just something I've already foreshadowed.
If it gets you to make a video, then that one.
Okay, you had to go. You always go personal, bro. Like, why,
Had
why?
to. Your
Just,
ego's too inflated, buddy. I had to pop the bubble. I'm just like Maki for real, bro. I'm just. You're in your domain. No, not anymore. No, thank you. We're gonna finish that up. But yeah, you might possibly be right. You are acting pretty cocky for somebody that, like, their only confirmation so far is that it's not chapter 200 yet.
you know what? You know what? I'm just gonna say it, bro. I'm just gonna say it. When Megami dies at chapter 200, when Angel just inevitably kills him, I'm gonna feel vindicated.
But if Megami dies, I'm not reading JJK anymore, which means I cannot participate in the podcast. That's all that happens. Megami's life force is directly attached to my willingness to talk about JJK, and I'm so serious.
Bro, would you privatize like every single JJK video? Would you stop being the JJK guy? Huh?
Yes,
You're simply mistaken, bro.
I'm not. That is exactly what I would do.
Listen. Chapter 100 was Nanami slapping Haruto around, and chapter 150 was Maki killing all the Zenin clan. Thank you. But listen. Chapter 200, chapter 250 even. I'm going to say both, right? Special occasion for Gege, right? Now, listen. We've been talking about it last couple episodes. We've been going back and forth in private conversations, but this is it, man. It's finally gonna fucking happen. We're gonna stop with these preliminary fights, and I've been enjoying them. I've been enjoying the arcs. I've been enjoying the fights. I've been enjoying all these new characters, right? But I'm ready. I am fully ready to see Kenjaku absolutely pop off, one-shot Miwa, just to put that to bed for my own satisfaction, right? Subjectively speaking, you know, absolutely destroying Japan, and ultimately, JJK ending with Kenjaku on top, as we all know he's going to be. I don't know how I got on this Kenjaku dick riding wagon, so I'm just gonna get off right here, right, and go back to
Just your natural state.
shut up, okay? Your name out of your
Yeah,
mouth.
man. Yeah, man. Sure. Anyways, yeah, I guess to talk more specifically about the chapter, I think it was pretty cool. I'd say the first half was really cool just because we got to see Naoya's domain. It was pretty. I hold the stance that it's probably in terms of like actual lethality, top tier. There are not very many domains that like beat it out in terms of just like efficacy in combat versus like a regular person. Sukuna's comes to mind because it can attack inanimate objects, which means like even if someone like Maki and or Toji enter, they would be attacked as well by it's either cleave or dismantle. I can never remember which one attacks which, but they would still be attacked. And honestly, Mahito and Gojo's in terms of like pure lethality and how they can get the job done, I would say Naoya's is actually up there because your characters just can't move inside the domain expand. Like it's just it for them, right? You move, you die, or you tear yourself apart, shit like that.
All right,
It's a pretty top tier ability. It just hasn't obviously, unfortunately, Maki was in there.
all right. Let me hit you with something. All right.
Okay.
Let me hit you with this. Right. His domain would be cool. Would be really strong, if not for Maki. That being said, do you think this same logic applies to non-special domains like Sukuna's, right? Where it can attack inanimate objects, whatever, right? But for somebody like Gojo, his domain is technically, on paper, just another regular domain. It's absurd.
Yep. And Maki would walk inside and stab him. If obviously you could argue she's fast enough, but like, yeah, she could just leave the domain if she's like, damn, that's a pretty powerful ability. I got to avoid it.
Okay. You know what? I'm willing to settle on this matter.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're welcome. My generosity really does know
yeah.
no bounds.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for concession, buddy. I didn't want to have to bring out the fallacy. I didn't want to have to start. Don't want to start getting. You were about to gish gallop there.
Ad hominem.
Yeah.
Appeal to authority.
But yeah, I think this chapter. So I don't know. I've kind of been flip flopping as I do on my opinion because I either feel like this was just okay or I feel like it was really good, and I like since I've read the chapter, I've been like thinking and like mulling this over.
Bro
because,
really said Gege is washed. I can't. That's crazy.
Yeah, that's interesting. I just have a mind of my own. I just be thinking and shit. You should try it.
Nah, bro, not for me. The dick eating comes first.
That's wild. Bro, so that's a part of his balanced diet. That's crazy. Anyways, yeah, I've been kind of, I don't know. I've been thinking. So some of the things I feel like, I guess this would be more if we were going to talk about Maki's arc here in its entirety. But I do feel, I don't know. I think this chapter was good. I probably like it less than I did the past two chapters because I think both of those were like super good, super entertaining. Like on like even just on initial read without further analysis or thought, I was like, yeah, really good. Enjoyed both. Obviously, Maki in the domain doing the sumo thing, having the freedom panel, dope, cool. Going into the next one, it was Maki beating Naoya's ass, running around. I can sense everything. Okay, cool. This one's cool. Definitely cool reveals, or like I guess cool further exploration of like how she interacts with domain expansions, and like barriers in general, which is something we kind of could have already put together due to the fact that we just know she can't be restricted by barriers.
Wait, but how did that? Didn't Toji get locked into a simple domain with that cursed spirit with the scissors and stuff?
Yeah, but that's probably because he fulfilled. There is probably a binding vow. Not probably. There is a binding vow that adds a further stipulation that he agreed to. It'd be very similar to the sumo guy example, where she entered it or Toji entered it of his own free will, quote unquote, by answering. You know what I mean? By answering the question, he was automatically basically entered into the domain raffle. You know what I mean?
I get what you mean, but at the same time, I noticed something that I pointed out on Twitter, and I want to get a chance to elaborate on it right now, right? So you know that panel that was like, cursed energy doesn't like recognize them as people. It's like they're just like buildings
Yeah.
essentially.
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, cursed energy doesn't really quantify Maki and Toji as human beings. Then, by all accounts, right, neither should the cursed spirits who are kind of mindless. Like sure, if you want to chop down a building with those scissors, it's one thing, right? But it's like the building can't answer a question. So why is it like, is it up to the cursed spirits or cursed users' discretion? I guess I don't know. It's just something that I noticed, and also like me personally, I wouldn't let some bitch ass power system talk about me like that.
Yes, you would be one of the fodder characters who have cursed energy but are like a grade 3. So you're right, man. You would not be quantified as a building, more like a small child. Um, but yeah.
That is wow.
Hmm. That hurt your feelings or something, buddy? You need a minute.
I don't have those.
Okay. Oh, tough guy. Um, but yeah, so good chapter. I don't think I fully processed like my feelings on it and Maki's arc subsequently in totality. Um, I've seen a lot of people say that like her being compared to Toji so much, like her having all these parallels, kind of like diminishes her own individuality. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I want to talk about it on the stream a little bit, but it's probably gonna be something I make a video on just because it's like it's such an interesting criticism, right? Because I think on the surface it definitely does hold some water. If you're like, yeah, if all of Maki's importance comes from the fact that she's like Toji, well then why not just have Toji in the story and get rid of her, right? Um, but I think that I feel like Maki is kind of, I mean, not only is she going to most likely become what Toji couldn't, but I think she already kind of has done what he couldn't. And that's specifically detaching herself completely from the thing that held her back in the first place, right? This is a conversation I've had with a couple of people, like including Tessero, and I guess it's kind of formed a bit more in depth with this chapter. But Toji died versus Gojo specifically because he was not able to completely like detach himself from
Mm-hmm.
from the ridicule he got from other sorcerers, from his own sort of like self-hatred at that fact, right? And obviously he goes up against Gojo, the pinnacle of sorcery, right? The thing he wanted to oppose and kind of like topple over, and he loses,
Yeah.
right? And Maki fights against Naoya, right? The Naoya being the last vestige of the misogynistic like traditional, very conservative ideas that held her and Mai back and made their lives like objectively worse. Um, and she unlike Gojo, she was able to fight that and win, right? Or not unlike Gojo, sorry, unlike Toji, she was able to fight that and she came out on top, right? Assuming now he doesn't just like fucking come back with a seventh transformation and then just kill her or some shit. Um, Knock on wood for all Maki fans with that one. But right, I think as of this chapter, we can assume that she won her battle with like her breaking free of her sort of like the thing she wanted to escape from. She is officially done so far, right? She's
Right.
probably going to acquire a new goal, a new purpose, but I feel like the parallels sort of are demonstrating a sense of power and not character. Like Toji failed, that's why he's dead, right? Maki succeeded so far in destroying the remnants of the Zenin clan and all of what they stand for, and that's why she's alive. So I do feel like there may be some discussion to be had about like how Gege is really being ham-fisted with the parallels. I do probably agree that he is like acting as if we're fucking stupid on occasion. Um,
Um,
like
I don't know about all that. Like, here's the thing, right? I don't. I'm not saying I disagree with your take about Maki's individuality being called into question
mhm,
now and then, but I do want to say I think to give Gege the benefit of the doubt, right?
mhm,
He is planning. It feels as though he's planning more further ahead for Maki's like the rest of Maki's story. Uh,
yeah,
Not necessarily like she can't have one, independent to Toji, because it's not like Toji had a fucking sister who died and had all that happen.
mhm,
But it's like I think the fact that Toji and Maki have never met formally, And the fact that she just kind of knows the corpse that one shot like Dagon essentially as her only
Hmm.
like metric for it kind of goes to show that like this kind of mentality that Toji had in his prime before he got rusty, right?
Hmm.
Put him on the fucking map as like that
Yeah.
guy. And I think what Gege's trying to say is like, hey, remember that like the Choji you saw fighting Teen Gojo, right? Even after he had warmed up, even after that second fight, he still was never fully. You've never seen Toji at his prime, and I want you to see like what that looks like. And personal prediction, right? Assuming he gets that message across with Maki, it could be the message could be something like, oh, so this is Toji fully realized. Yeah, he could have killed adult Gojo, obviously an extreme example, but just to like
Yeah.
to get like the urgency of why Toji was like so feared or so like good at what he did.
For sure. Okay, so I agree. I agree. And I would say that I think Maki does keep her individuality in spite of all the parallels. Like in fact, I think it's sort of displaying the difference. It's like someone wouldn't say Yuji's character arc is diminished just because Mahito pulls a lot of parallels to himself, right? Yuji's character works not just in spite of that, but it becomes better because those parallels are harped on and exist. Um, and it's like when that difference is shown, one person comes out the victor and one comes out as like the loser. Like I said, which is why I think Maki was able to seemingly so far, right, free herself of her like of the things that chained her down, but Toji was not quite able to do that before he died. Maybe you could argue his corpse kind of is like that, and his second death is sort of that freeing one, but we don't really have that much information on it. So I'll leave speculation to a more informed and thought out me. I will say though, and this isn't like that big of a deal. Like it's not a huge problem. I will say though,
Mm-hmm.
um, I feel like Gege is going crazy on not just like showing us, but telling us that they're the same. Which honestly, I can't blame him because if he were somehow connected to the fucking fans over here, he got to he's got to say it, bro. Because I was saying this a long time ago. Maki equal to Toji, Maki equal to Toji, Maki. He's like, all right, bro. I'm going to say Maki is on par with Toji. That this is it.
Just like shut
Even when
up
he said
about
that
it. Like
before.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I respect it. Like I don't mind it either, right? Just personally speaking, right? Aside from like the artistry or writing of it all, like I don't mind these constant comparisons to Toji because, in my opinion, right, the purpose they serve uh, is to show Maki's progress bar in a weird way. It's
Hmm.
like, okay, she's at like 2% Toji, 20% Toji, 50% Toji. And I think with this chapter, it's like, okay, she's fully Toji. The comparisons are stopping at this point.
Yeah, and I think if she continues to grow and change, right?
Mm?
Um, I would say, yeah, like in retrospect, this can definitely be made even better. Um, because currently I feel like just Maki's character has to go further than this, right? Because I do think that yes, while her character is independent of Toji's, so far using those parallels is not hasn't been a crutch because that has like a negative connotation. It's been a very key point in telling her story, and I'm interested in seeing where Gege goes when he does not have that to rely on anymore. When he cannot bring back the fact that part of her journey is achieving some of the things Toji had and then taking it like that step further. Like what does Maki look like once she's completely free without comparison to Toji, right? Without comparison to like people in the past. I'm very interested in seeing like
Okay,
what
yeah, this just made.
Maki's version of freedom looks like.
All right, then I want to amend my statement. Okay, so it's not so much that this will be the final one, but I think the last Toji comparison Gege should make is
Mm,
saying she's finally surpassed Toji.
yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Um yeah. Yeah.
All right, so like what it means for Maki's character aside, right? What do you think of the actual quality of the fight compared to the other ones and just on its own?
Okay, so when you take out, and we are just talking about like raw, like
Yeah.
fight. Yeah. Let's see. How do I rank him? It's above the Yuji and Higuruma fight.
Okay,
Um,
respectable.
and and I think that's about it in terms of like purely how the fight goes.
Yeah,
Um,
I agree. I think it was definitely like the weakest visual fight. Yeah,
mhm,
this particular chapter, Gege definitely was in his bag art wise. Um,
mhm.
if you guys couldn't tell by like the thumbnail, right? I just couldn't decide between all of them, so I just combined them into one. And I fully acknowledge how cool it is, like with all the dialogue about Maki and how she's evolved, and this and that. There is one thing that does kind of still rub me the wrong way when I take a look at this fight, kind of holistically, like in one, like as an entire
Mhm.
sequence, right? And that's the beginning, right? In my
Yeah.
opinion, definitely the weakest beginning of any of the fights, right? Because even Megumi's fight with Reggie started off like pretty cool. He was getting like baited by what's her name? Uh,
Remy.
by Remy. He was like getting stabbed back and forth like by different people. He killed a guy in midair before the fight with Reggie even started. Right? That was cool as fuck. And so
Yeah.
I think like when it comes to like introductions and the starts of these fights, Maki's and Noritoshi's were definitely the weakest like intro. Like
Um, I feel like
slowest start.
okay. Yeah, I could see that. So my thing is, right, I think Maki's fight holds most of its value, similar to like how to Yuji and Higuruma's, where most of it comes from a character standpoint, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think fights are composed of more than just visuals and stuff like that. But I do get what you mean, so I'm going to address that in a second.
Mm-hmm.
But I think just to clarify for everybody in chat, if I say Maki fight is this level or whatever. It's not that great of a fight. I am specifically talking about how it's visually depicted, the choreography, the cool factor, all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I'm not really talking about how the character impacts that. That being said, I think I do think that this fight is not okay, it's weird. It's visuals, in my opinion, it has some of like some really good visuals, like double page spreads and shit like that give us a lot of perspective. The domain expansion looks really cool. Maki in the forest with Sumo guy,
Mm-hmm.
really cool. Like it has a lot of key individual things like that. But I think in motion, it has not been as fluid as something like Yuta in Sendai, Hikari versus Kashimo, or even Megumi versus Reggie. Because I think a lot of their fights they weren't building as much character, right? Um, and they were more focused on specifically the action. So because of that, Gege doesn't have to take pauses to stop and have these characters like grow as people mid combat and things like that. Um, and I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm curious in seeing how I feel about it when I reread this fight in sequence with all of the other ones. Because I've given those other fights that chance. I've seen Yuta versus Sendai in its entirety. I've seen Hikari versus Kashima in its entirety, and gone back and read those fights. With Megami versus Reggie, I've seen it in its entirety. With Yuji versus Igruma, I've seen it in its entirety. But I haven't gone back yet and seen the Maki fight in totality. I don't see how it flows without that weekly break in between. So I'm very curious on how my opinion changes off of that. But but I will say that yeah, I think it's just above Yuji versus Higuruma just based off of pure choreography and like visual standpoint. That would definitely be where I'm at there.
All right. I think the thing I was gonna push back on. First of all, I respect the take, but the thing I was gonna push
Mm-hmm.
back on was the better like fights than character work. And the exception I was gonna make was actually Yuji versus Higuruma, because I'd argue like before this fight, it was definitely the one
Mm-hmm.
with the most focus on character development. Because I'm gonna I am determined to be on this hill like until I see otherwise. But we have not seen like properly post fights, post awakening, post like Shibuya Yuji fight at full health, right? With all of his.
I think it's not going to be as impressive as people think.
I mean, I'm not. I don't know if it's gonna be too impressive either way, especially after all the fuck we've seen these last like 15, 20 chapters or so. I just more meant
Yeah.
like Gege didn't like he chose deliberately not to focus on that aspect of Yuji's character for his Culling Games preliminary fight, right? He chose to focus on him in relation to his reaction to Sukuna's crimes.
Okay.
So,
Um.
like
Yeah.
I think what I'm trying to get at is like I definitely don't think Yuji's moment should go ignored. You know, as a huge moment, defining moment for his character and his journey.
Yeah, I don't think it should go ignored. I think it's definitely probably my least favorite Cooling Games fight,
Mm-hmm.
or like prelim fight. I will say there's pushback on the fact that we haven't seen that Yuji. We have seen that Yuji. He's like in his two little fights or whatever. I think he's literally just going to be Shibuya Yuji with some minor amp. I think it's going to be almost unnoticeable the difference if I just had to guess, right? From our perspective, he would obviously know. But I mean, in terms of like who he can beat or who he can like be relative to, I think it's going to be nearly the same. Um, that being said, no, I don't think overlooking Yuji's part in the story is what is not only what people should do, but what I'm going about. I will say I don't think there's a lot of development for Yuji himself. It's just more an establishment of things that we already knew in a different scenario, right? Seeing Yuji pushed in these different like being literally judged for his actions and like how he reacts to things like that that I find very interesting. Um let's see.
Uh,
Hmm.
okay. Um, Sorry, Liv said something that's been repeated a couple times in chat that I want to address, and that's like JJK or series on rereads. So, speaking about JJK subjectively, right? Because I want to know your take.
Hmm.
JJK hits so fucking hard on rereads for me as a fan, and the reason I do it very sparingly, and I mean like from chapter one onwards, right, is because
Hmm.
as weird as it sounds to say as like a negative, I start reading it as a fan and not as a guy who has a fucking JJK podcast. So I start to just like kind of overlook certain things, or I'm like there to vibe. Essentially, is what I'm trying to say,
Hmm.
right? And
Yeah.
so whenever I like read JJK back, I do it purely for me, right? It's not, oh yeah, let me do some research, let me elaborate on a point here and there. Like, no, I'm doing it for the enjoyment of it, right? If I want to do like research on something, as weird as that sounds, for me, right? It's
Hmm.
why I'm in such trouble with the Bleach community now, um, or not now, but
Hmm.
like generally. Um, I I can't. My concentration broke. I lost my train of thought. It's your turn.
Oh,
Yeah, completely lost it. All of it. Just in a flash. Just
okay.
instantly disappeared from my memory. Like wow. Brain came to a
Got it.
full hard stop, bro.
Got
It
it.
was like
Got
a
it.
collision on a highway at like 100
Yeah.
miles an hour.
Chad, this is why we need the cream's brain cell fund. Let's see. Yeah, I'll definitely say from my perspective, I don't think there's a single series that hits like okay, I'll say this. Read weekly for comprehension and understanding. Read like and then in reading binge reading is like purely for enjoyment, right? That's what I think. I don't think I've ever understood a series more when I binge read it versus reading it weekly. However, I don't think I've ever like enjoyed the actual process of reading a manga weekly more than binge reading it. There are things I enjoy more about it, like the community aspect, talking about
Mm.
it, stuff like that. But the actual act of reading a chapter on a weekly basis versus getting to binge read it is just less enjoyment. So
So you're a
yeah,
weekly over binge reading guy?
it just depends on what I'm trying to do.
S-
It depends on what I'm trying to accomplish. There are dozens of manga I would never read weekly and don't read weekly because I don't care about analyzing the series very deeply. Even
Uh
series I really like Grand Blue, for example. I'm not reading that. It comes out monthly, right? I'm not reading that on a monthly basis.
It's
Fuck
like,
that.
oh shit, are they gonna
Yeah,
win the soccer game? Oh,
you're thinking of Blue Lock, buddy.
oh
Um,
my god, are they gonna win
that
swimming? Is that Grand Blue?
it's a slice of life manga, buddy.
Oh my god,
They do have some diving in there, but there's no winning diving.
I know that
In
was
any
part of the
case,
joke. You know what? I'm
yeah, yeah,
done.
yeah, yeah, man.
Um,
Yeah. Please, for the sake of me and chat, all right, we're worried about you.
dude, I
Um,
I, I don't know what's wrong with me.
yeah. I will say though, yeah, binge reading is just more enjoyable. Weekly reading, typically I retain more information. And I can talk about it more in depth. That is it. So it's not a matter of like I like binge reading more, but I know that if I binge read a series and then I try to talk about it in depth, remember names of characters, and assuming I've only binge read it once, like it's just I fucking pick up a new manga, I read it, it's 100 chapters, and I'm like, talk about it. I'm finished. Well, wallahi, I'm finished, right? Like I'm done for. I'm cooked.
Can you say
Um,
just say that one more time for me?
wallahi, I'm finished.
Oh, look at you, bro. I appreciate what you're trying to do, bro.
Huh.
It's
Yeah,
a
okay.
it is a pre. You know what? You have my blessing. That was okay. That was passable.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you. And when he made me repeat it, I was like, damn, I'm in the corner. Um, yeah.
Bro, I got to teach you some Arabic later. Remind me.
Okay. All right.
I don't know. I think it'll be a
New
fun little
new
thing.
new arc. New
Yeah.
arc for me. Let's see. Yeah. Toji really just jumped up to the top five. Are you talking about in character or strength? Because you're smoking dick on either one. I'm not gonna lie to you. Um, I feel like okay. I'll say it like this: if you did not have Toji top five in terms of character already, this chapter should not change it for you. Um,
I mean, I'll
and
say
if you're talking
this.
about strength, no, he's not top five.
I'll say this. I want to tackle one of the biggest each other's languages. What's BR gonna teach me? Out of
Yeah, I'll
curiosity.
teach him. I'll teach him. I'll teach you this fucking Southern slang, buddy.
Yeah, dude, your southern draw is very present. Like it's so overwhelming. Um,
I mean, oh, and your Arabic is?
I what are you talking about? You don't know.
No, I'm saying, I don't hear it right now. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I can bring out the fucking good old Southern accent. I'll bring out my cowboy boots, the spurs, bro. I gotta, don't make me fucking. Nope, that's gonna have.
Hey,
Chad's gonna twist that around on me, so I'm gonna leave that one. Actually, I'm gonna leave that there.
hey, yo, Chad.
Um,
Do any of you speak Arabic? I want to know if I should try to like impress any of you right now.
Londa said teach him AAV, and that's crazy.
That
That's wild.
yo. Um,
That's crazy to Chad. I'm not even gonna cut.
M3D, thanks for the $2 dono. How much do you think this chapter does for Maki scaling? I think it's huge for Maki scaling, and it's what I wanted to talk about right now. But so
Yeah.
the biggest part of the chapter that I think really goes understated. Maki's relationship with the soul, right? So it seems like it's
Mhm.
twofold: her perception of it and her ability to hit it with Mai's sword, right?
Yeah.
So here's what I'm wondering: does this mean canonically, sword guy, katana guy, is
Yes,
able
he
to
could.
see the outline of the soul?
Yes.
And this is just like a thing, like it's a perception, right?
Yep.
That like seemingly just humans can do, because it's not like that guy or even sumo guy have a particular like curse, heavenly restriction. So
Yeah.
I find it quite interesting that Maki is now able to not only see but hurt the soul. And I'm wondering two things. One, is Maki's attack power when attacking the soul separate? And is it something that she can only do at a certain level? For example, if Maki hits at like 200 newtons of energy, right? Is she only able to attack the soul at 200 newtons of energy, or is it like the depths to which I can perceive your soul is equidistant to how much force I can attack it with? So, for example, is it like she can see Mahito's soul and therefore use the sword to hit it, and then all it does is like give him like a little paper cut? Or is it like, oh yeah, dude, I got your soul like just down pat. Let me cut you in half real quick, including a headshot, like with one
Let me
blow.
ask you this. Let me ask you this. Do you think it even matters? Because most people don't have a defense for their soul, not one that's meaningful anyway, right? Newborn Mahito is like, dude, I'll touch you 3 times, a grade one. I'll touch you 3 times, you're dead. I think Maki going up against anybody that does not have like automatic regen, um, can just cleave them in half, like assuming they have no sort of soul defense. I would probably say that the caveat to that is that she has to be physically strong. Maybe she has to be physically strong enough to actually like do damage to the person physically in order for the soul like a part to take place, which is why Mahito like in his fight with Yuji is like I can't shrink because if I shrink myself down, Yuji strikes have enough power to like one shot me.
All right,
So it might be like it
so
might just scale to the amount of damage he can do to the person in general.
okay, so what about this then? Um, does this mean Maki is now moving forward going to hit the soul as well as the body and with the inherent cursed energy of the sword, or is it just going to be a thing she uses sparingly, right? Is it like, does whenever Yuji punches, for example, right? Is the
Mm,
person on the receiving end, not just Mahito, but everybody, getting the same hit on their soul that Mahito like feels? Because if so,
probably not.
they don't have a natural defense for it. So theoretically, it should be even more devastating to get hit by Yuji, right?
I
But
mean, to be fair, it might be.
I mean, short of a
It,
Black Flash and maybe like with Divergent Fist, like him refining that, sure, right? You have a better argument for it like being more painful. But I think generally speaking, it's like he's just not using it consciously because he either lacks the ability to or lacks the same kind of perception that Maki does. It seems like right now Maki's perception of the soul is greater than Yuji's, right? Like, is that a
mhm.
fair assessment?
Well, Monkeys is intentional, so yeah, I would say so.
Right, meaning that let's say you give Maki even like half of Yuji's cursed energy with Divergent Fist. I just don't think like who's stopping her, right? Who is able to prevent that from happening to them, right? What kind of like who's able to block that hit?
Uh, I don't know. I like I said, it depends on. But I don't think Maki has like infinite AP or whatever. Like she can one shot anybody. I have a hard time believing that there's going to be zero counters to Maki and her abilities. Um, because I do think someone like Yuji, in theory, if he wasn't so physically inferior already, would be able to survive an attack. But I think the reason he can't isn't because of the soul based attack. It's because he's like literally a physically inferior version, right?
Mm-hmm.
Of like Maki and Toji. I think also disarming her is probably going to be a very big component in dealing with her as a combat, like as a character. Um, like because without it, she can't kill curses, and she's just a super strong person, right? Without that soul, you know,
Soul perceptions,
without
but
yeah. Well, no,
I
she has
think
a soul perception already, but she can't. It doesn't seem that she can do that with just her fist.
but like
That seems to be the specialty of the blade.
yeah, so I was gonna say the blade seems like it's doing a lot of the heavy lifting here, right? Not even
Yeah,
okay, not even a lot of the heavy lifting, right? Because Maki had it before and she wasn't able to fully realize its powers. But it seems like now that she has, why go back, right? Why purposefully throttle oneself when the amount it probably takes out of her is not? It's not like she's using cursed energy, right? She's just
yeah.
using her senses. So my argument is why not moving forward have Maki hit with her insane amount of AP, the quality of that sword, and attacking the soul directly, just to kind of do like a 3-in-1 devastating AP shot without having to like spam or have a full drawn out fight at Mach 3, for example, you know? Like
Yeah.
at this point in
I mean,
time, what is the argument for anybody giving Maki a hard time?
they beat her ass with, and she can't land a hit on them.
But
By the way,
who's
thank you
doing
for
that?
the. I'll give you. I'll tell you in a second. Thank
Okay.
you for the $10, Funky Monk.
Okay. Yeah.
Um,
Y'all hope y'all
we
are
are
having a
having a
great day.
good day.
Yes. Thank. Y-
And hashtag me will call. Thank you, thank you.
oh,
Um,
I'll forgive it just this
yeah.
once,
So do you, I mean I can give you. You want a list of people?
please.
Like yeah. So Yuta's doing that for one. Sukin is doing that for two. At least based off of what we've seen so far, statements we have, if we're assuming Maki is equal to Choji, blah blah blah.
Mm-hmm.
Gojo's doing that. Those are probably the main three that are like I have no doubt, and there's no real good argument for the opposition. Depending on if you think Hikari actually is stronger than Yuta when he's worked up, Hikari would do that as well. Kashima would do that as well. Those would probably be the main ones. Maybe Kenjaku. Yeah, Kenjaku, Geto by proxy, maybe.
Uh,
Um,
dude, these sirens are kicking my ass.
no, I got you. I got you.
uh,
The main three, you mean the holy three? That's crazy.
Maki
Yeah,
negates
Kashima could beat
Malevolent
her.
Shrine. That is
No, she doesn't.
crazy. No,
She doesn't. I'll tell you. I'll tell you why.
dude.
Why, real quick. Okay, so quick lesson for you guys. Quick lesson, chat.
All right, before you do,
Maki is basically deemed to be.
hold on, before you do, guys, I want to get it to 100 likes before we end stream. We have roughly half an hour, 45 minutes left.
Hmm.
All right, so you were saying?
Yeah. Before I was so rudely interrupted.
Yes. Emphasis on rudely.
Yes. Basically, Maki is seen as an inanimate object inside of domains, right? Domains sure hits don't affect her normally. However, Sukuna's domain has a little bit of a clause in there. Sukuna has a little bit of a clause in there. All right. Um, like he has an attack inside his domain that specifically targets inanimate objects. Meaning, if Maki steps in there thinking she's the shit, she's like, "Yeah, I got this. I'm chilling." Boom, arm gone, leg gone, head gone. Like it's just she's now nicely packaged in a bunch of ice cube shapes. Like that's it. She's done for. She's gone. She's finished. Finito.
So
Because
you're
if he's deemed an inanimate object in the domain and he targets inanimate objects, you're dead.
okay. Let me hit you with something else. All right. Let me hit you with something a little bit more practical.
Okay.
Just because you have a domain doesn't necessarily mean you're stronger than somebody who doesn't. Case in point, here's the statement: Kashimo is stronger than Higuruma. Is that something you agree with?
Yeah, sure.
Right. But Higuruma has a domain, Kashimo doesn't. What would you say Maki's chances are comparatively with those two?
With who? Kashimo and Higuruma?
Respectively, yes. Before you do,
She blitzes and one shots Higuruma.
M3D, thanks for the $2. Can't Maki just ignore domains completely, though? Well, not Sukuna's, because it has like a 200-meter radius. She could probably outrun the radius, right? But once it starts attacking, she's done for.
Because while one part of the attack would not do anything, by the way, chat, you got to remember, Sukuna's domain does not have a barrier either. So it's not like she can just, it's not like she just knows there's a barrier and just leaves it. She does not know the range, right? She doesn't know how far it goes. She doesn't know if there's a way to escape it. And in fact, we have no real reason to think that she is going to take, she might just think she's immune to domains full stop. There's not a single domain expansion on the planet that can hurt her. And if Sukuna pops one open, boom, cleave or dismantle, whichever one it is. Where'd my arm go? You know?
Or it'll be like, you know how Toji had that giant hole on his side after Gojo hit him with purple? Maki will be like, she won't even have the other half of her body. Like, it's
They'll be like, yeah. Okay. You asked me. Higuruma couldn't even fucking easily demolish a cursed energyless Yuji. Maki folds. Higuruma doesn't even get out the words domain expansion.
Yes.
And Kashima's I'll say this. It completely depends on your interpretation of Hikari and Yuta's relative scaling. If Hikari, when worked up and like in jackpot mode, is above Yuta, Kashimo slams. If not, then it's vague, and you would just have to try to argue like some weird. Okay, Hikari should be vaguely above like Yuji, and Kashima's like around that or some bullshit. But you don't really have that very solid scaling, and you would just go Maki.
So despite this recent chapter, you still have Yuta over Maki. Interesting.
I have Yuta over Maki
physical stats, just to like make that clear.
I'm because we've had this conversation before. Do I think like Toji's getting waxed by Yuta? I'm fighting two very like powerful parts of my fucking my brain right now, right? There's the empirical, like we have statement that says this, we have feat that says this, versus like I really feel like Gege is not going to have Maki fully develop into this power and have Yuta be like several like literally multiple times stronger, faster, more durable, and all that shit than her. Especially when that's her own, like that's her, as in the words of Yuji, that's her selling point, right? You know what I mean? So it's like I feel like narratively it wouldn't make sense to do that, but if you go off of what we've seen, it's kind of hard to not think Yuta should be that like higher. You know what I mean?
Dude, Liv is just throwing down the gauntlet with you. Don't even remember his boy Megumi is the answer to Sukuna. BR, even a real Megumi fan? Question mark.
Yes. Megumi is a counter to Sukuna, which is why he's gonna beat him. Maki has nothing to do with that.
Hold up.
What are we talking about?
What'd you just say?
Megumi is going to 1v1 Sukuna and beat his ass. Heard it here first, folks.
You know what? I hate it. So here's what's I hate it. I hate you, but I agree.
Megumi's gonna kill Sukuna, and me was gonna kill Kenjaku. Like
you're insane. No, you had me. No, you lost me. Stop, dude. That is insane. Dude. Why? Okay, let me ask you something, just so we're on the same page. Do you think the way Megumi's countering Sukuna is via his shadows being like an out of Sukuna's what do you call it, range?
No, they're gonna have a domain battle.
A domain bat. That's wild that you'd say that
Obviously,
shit.
listen. You need to obviously because you're small minded, so I need to expand it
Oh my
for you. All
god.
right. Obviously, Megumi's going to need to get stronger and improve, right? But we've seen how strong Maki's gotten in just one fight. Give Megumi two or three that are like that. Come on. His domain has a sure hit inside of its barrierlessness. Come on. Sukuna's washed.
Sukuna's
And
washed. That's a
Sukuna
wild
Suku
line.
he's if he's fighting Megumi the goat Fushiguro, yeah, he's done for. He's cooked.
I I
Listen. I'll say this. What is Sukuna
seek
gonna do
help.
when he fights 20 Mahoragas inside a domain expansion with a
Dude, that
200-meter
that is
range?
literally my idea. Don't fucking
That's you think you hold on. You think you're the first person to talk about fucking a lot of Mahoragas? Good job, man.
Hey!
No.
I have an actual record, all right, of when I came up with the idea. Don't play
Okay.
this game with me.
When I'll
What?
pull up a tweet that talks about it before you. Go ahead.
All right,
Let's do it.
that video that I made about Megumi's domain expansion.
All right, pull it up. What's the date?
It was like fucking 6 months ago. I don't know.
Oh, okay. Specific date, buddy. Come on.
I am not
We,
gonna have the date,
yeah.
dude. Are you
So you got proof. Got
dude?
you.
You weren't.
Interesting.
Don't fucking utilize my laziness against me.
Yeah, I am going to. I'm gonna need a timestamp immediately too.
Oh, it's a year ago. I've been cooking with this
Interesting.
one for a
Ooh,
while.
yeah. Okay.
All
Well,
right.
give me the timestamp.
Oh shit, it was almost exactly a year ago, September 16th, 2021, and that's when it was uploaded. That means I had like minimum 2 weeks before this when I even started writing it.
Proof. Proof. It takes you 2 weeks to write a script.
You personal experience of knowing me.
Yeah. But sorry. I'm not Andrew Tate. Personal experience does not trump actual empirical evidence. Thanks.
You're literally such a scumbag, man. I can't. Like I dude,
Anyways,
oh my god.
listen. Memes aside. Here's the thing you guys got to understand. Most rules that like people are immune to, like people are like, yeah, fucking you can counter a domain like this and this and this, right? Simple domains, in theory, don't work on Sukuna, right? Maki is not immune to Sukuna's domain. A lot of people are not immune to a lot of shit because Sukuna is literally different.
He's built different.
That's it.
Yes.
Correct.
So I forget, were you the guy that said this? But it was like, I see the natural perfect form of Megumi's domain being barrierless as well.
Yes, I've said that ever since it was first shown. I was like, oh, well, I'll say this: ever since we saw Sukuna's domain had no barrier and a sure hit, I was like, oh, that's rats. That's what Megumi's getting.
Right, because it always seems like Megumi was like actively trying to use a barrier whenever he.
I think so.
Yeah, right. And didn't he used the gymnasium as a makeshift barrier here and there, right? So it seems like it's actively something he's trying to do. So do you think the way he goes about like achieving this goal is to be like, you know what? Why do I always want to like use a barrier? Let me try something, and then that's how it goes.
Maybe, maybe. It depends on a lot of factors. There are definitely a lot of ways it can come to pass, but I do think that like Megami is going to have to understand. Listen, limiting yourself in any capacity, including putting a physical barrier over your own domain, not the move. All right.
Okay.
Maybe he'll see Sukuna do it because I will say this: it's crazy that Sukuna had more influence on his growth than Gojo.
That
That's
is
crazy.
yes. I remember we were talking
So
about this. You said yeah. You want to just repeat it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So basically, what we were talking about, right, is it's insane that someone Megami has known for like at least like a decade, right, was told him the same advice that Sukuna did. Basically, you need to be more free. You need to you basically need to like be more selfish in your fights, right? Megami hears that. He flashes back to it and is like, nah. He puts up the hand sign to summon Mahoraga, and Sukuna's one line of what wasted potential, and he's like, wait a minute. And then he just opens the domain expansion. He's talked to Sukuna once, and the only line that's relevant in his like domain expansion is the wasted potential. He hears that once from Sukuna, is like, I can't let that slide, and then opens a domain expansion. Versus Gojo, a mentor, a teacher, some would even say maybe an ally, a friend, and somebody's known for 10 years, nah, fuck it. But Sukuna, he's like, yeah, I'm listening to. That makes me think there's just going to be a lot of connection between them, a lot of parallels, a lot of similarities.
I really like that. It's a very I can see why Megumi's your favorite character. You know, he
Wait, what? What are you trying to say? What are you trying to say?
I'm just saying he's just kind of like petty like you for real. Is all I'm saying.
Damn.
Oh
Yeah.
God, dude. Can I just say, I think we have a couple more minutes here. I figured this will be like a nice little end to the episode, unless you want to get anything off your chest. But we're just
Mm,
gonna vibe with chat for a little bit.
okay.
Trying to hit, but I think the episode is like officially whatever. Um, Megami needs to make a binding vow on himself, like Sukuna did in Shibuya. Yeah, could be cool. Could
Mm,
boost Megami's power a lot, give him more control that he desperately needs. But yeah, I'm trying to get. I think like the natural ending point will just be like 100 likes. Yeah. So if anybody who's here, wants to keep going, we're gonna keep going until like 100 likes, and then we're gonna bounce. What you guys think of this chapter generally? What about Megami needs? Oh wait, no, I already read that one. Theory: Megami kills all of his shadows and combines them into one. Yeah, we thought. Yeah, it was like a super chimera because like his thing is called Chimera Shadow Garden. So Beer and I were like,
mm.
what if that's literal? What if he combines all his Shinigami? I don't know if we included Maharaga in that, but it was like, what if there was like some super Shinigami, right, that like rivaled Maharaga, or kind of. They're all 10 of them are kind of like separate beings. Like they're all part of the same being, right? But they've been separated, and it's up to the 10 Shadows user to reform them, and no 10 Shadows user in history before Megami has been able to do it, right? I think it's a cool theory, right? I've always been a
Yeah.
proponent of Megami's domain is going to be in line with him as a character and be like super technical. Like it Megami's domain, to me, it's Megami as a character, really, his entire arsenal is never going to be overwhelming power, right? Or anything like that. It's always going to be like overwhelming numbers, technicality, intelligence. It's like he is, to me, going to have the most overwhelming technique, just in terms of like, let's say you beat like 10,000 Maharagas or some crazy number like that, then I die, right? Like that could be the binding vow, you know?
Then I die.
Yeah, but
That's funny.
but if even one of them defeats you, you know, you die, obviously.
Yeah. Um, I could see it. I could see it. Could just, bleh. I always, whenever Menge's brought up, I'm like, the thought has to be the most well thought out thing ever. I cannot simply say, it deserves the best theorizing possible. But I will say that, like, I think I like a lot of like the versatility of having to kind of like bring together this ragtag, like group of like not that strong Shikigami in order to make something of it. I think that's really cool. But yeah, a Shikigami. Wait, did somebody say a Chimera Zord?
That is wild.
That's wild.
Yuji needs a weapon, a dagger, in a fight with Yuta. I don't know if I kind of go back and forth on if Yuji needs a weapon. If you tell me Yuji needs a weapon to fight, excuse me, give him a fighting chance in the same way Yuta has a sword. Yeah, okay, I can see it. Imagine like a Black Flash with a sword. That'd be sick, right? But
Oh, speaking of which,
if you're telling me Yuji needs a weapon, though, I don't know. I think he's always been a brawler. Go on.
yeah, I'm just saying. Maybe I think a very easy way for Gege to like kind of like give Megumi a power up is have him hit a Black Flash. Um, I think that's like the easiest way to go about it, just because we know Black Flashes like are just like they're just life changing for cursed energy users. Um, like, and the fact that he's gotten this far without one is like, okay, okay, because you just hit one, like you just hit one. If you use the movie's sort of continuity, right? You to hit a Black Flash in his fight with Geto. Honestly, based on that, I wonder if they're gonna make Gojo hit a Black Flash when he uses like red or some shit,
Yeah,
um,
I
like
mean,
on Toji.
It's very interesting that the narrator still maintains the fact that you can't hit, like, nobody can hit a Black Flash intentionally,
Yeah,
because Gojo counts as somebody. So
yeah,
I don't know.
yeah. I don't think it'd be intentional. I think it's just him. He's really feeling it. He's like, I can fucking use red now. I'm different. Um, and then I think if Megami hits one with like obviously the potential and growth he's had so far, boom, you've kind of yeah. Do you? Oh, this is actually something Grims has brought up. Do you ever think it's because Megami is so in his head strategizing that he can't be in the moment?
Oh
I would say
yeah,
that
I
that's
I remember that.
yeah. I would say that like I truly think that um like a black flash just requires extreme focus on the task at hand. And I
Yeah.
think that like you can be because Nanami hit a black flash, right? And
Mm.
Nanami's a very like overthinking ass dude, right? And Nanami didn't just hit a black flash, he
He hit
hit four
four.
consecutive black flashes. I think Megami just like a similar moment to the domain expansion thing you can have as a catalyst for Megami. Because even in that moment, Megami is like actively thinking about how he wants to shape his domain, what that's even going to look like, how it's going to happen, things like that, thinking on how to do that shit. But he still is able to come up with this new ability. I think Megami is just like, I think he just has a very good, like, a knack for moving around all these different pieces in combat, very similar to Sukuna, because I don't think anybody would say Sukuna is too in his head, right?
Yeah,
Um,
but
he's
okay.
just strategic.
I think what it is with Megami is that he hasn't fully perfected the headspace of, like, if I die, I die, but I gave it my all. Like, I think he's really good at that first half, but he's not willing to let go and, like, act like it, like, in the same kind of simplistic way that Yuji and Nobara are, or even
Mm-hmm.
Nanami, right? Because Nanami never really loses sight of his goal, right? Even when he was basically a walking corpse, he still, like, went on autopilot, killing curses, right? He was a machine to, like, the very bitter end. And I think the problem with Megami is that he kind of sees it as like, oh fuck, my eye is bleeding again. Guess this is it for me. All right, later. It's never like, oh, you think because my eye bleeds that's gonna stop me? No, like then he, like, pops off like that. And I think it's something he's working on. Like, obviously there are moments that show that, like, Megami is like he's approaching that mind space of, like, um freedom, true freedom in a fight. And I think that's, like, ultimately what's gonna put him over the edge and, like, make him one of the strongest characters in the series.
I feel like okay, so I agree, but I feel like he's kind of grown out of that. And the example I give is when he's getting crushed to death by Reggie, and he's like, "There's a shadow above you," like smiling in the heat,
Yes.
like 3 cars of weight
Dude,
are
he's
fucking on his
almost there.
shoulders,
Dude, every fight
and
he
he's
has,
like,
he gets just closer
"Yeah,
and closer, and I just want to see him go over the edge and just have that be his default, right? I think what I want out of Megami is to kind of see this change in a static situation, not when he's, like, in the middle of a fight and he's already exchanged some blows right at the end. No, I want to see him, like, have this more like, free attitude in his day-to-day interactions, and like the before the fight even starts, right? Because you know how Sukuna's cocky the second he's, like, on panel, like the literal second
mm-hmm,
Sukuna, like, wakes from Yuji's body, he's already having the time of his life, right? He does not care. Like, he will fight anybody for any reason. He'll kill anybody for any reason at any time, even people who just helped him out, right? His first instinct is just to, like, just swing, right? The second he woke up, right, he cut off Jogo's hand and was about to behead all three of them, all Jogo and the smartphone girls, right? And I
mm-hmm.
think, like, Gojo, right, he got out of that car, sensing Jogo was coming, gave him shit the entire time, and just repeatedly humiliated, embarrassed, and then kicked his ass, right? Before even, like, thinking about using a domain. Just, like, I think that level of, like, oh yeah, let me do whatever the hell I want. That level of freedom, that level of confidence is something that, like, Megami needs to achieve to, like, really get into his zone. And I think the character closest to that level right now is probably Yuta, right? Because it wasn't until uh he never was on the ropes really. Looking back at that
Mm-hmm.
fight, he was, like, definitely stressed and he was getting, like, pressed, right? But it's like when he was never committed to winning the fight in a sportsmanship kind of way until Ishigori's sincerity just got to him, right? And
Mm-hmm.
that is, like, the moment where Yuta let go, right? And he was just like, you know what? just this once, just this once, you and me,
Yeah.
right? And I,
Okay, but I'll ask. To me, okay, I'll ask you this, right?
mm,
Because I think that's 'cause I would agree. That's a moment where he's like really just losing himself in the fight and the enjoyment of it, right?
mm.
But how is it any different than Megumi's like individual moments where he's like there's a shadow above you and he's smiling as he's like bleeding from the head and shit like that? To me, it's
Oh,
like they both have like sparks
no, no,
of
no,
it,
no, no.
but like
I'm not saying one has it over the other. I'm saying it like, I think Yuta is just a little further along in that journey, right?
gotcha.
If they're both trying to hit a level 10 where Sukuna and Gojo are with this mentality, then I think Yuta
Hmm.
is probably at like a 5 or a 6, and
Gotcha.
yeah, and like Megumi's teetering around a 4.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Live with the pun. He truly has. He hasn't truly tried to live hard enough to fully understand what it means to be pushed to choose death as a last resort.
Bro,
Um,
that's a me level
yeah,
joke. Love it.
people
You love to
dreams
see
with
it.
the fucking corny name puns.
Yes, sir.
Um,
Always, you know it, bro. I gotta stay in character.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see because I feel like also in part that's what Black Flash does. It does give you that like level of because Nanami says something interesting. Where he's like you just feel like oh, I want to pull it up exactly. It's when it's like right when he has that little interview with Eno about like the Black Flashes, and he's talking in a very not Nanami way, right? He talks very similar to how Sukuna does, where he's like, I feel like everything in the world was just made for you and shit like that.
Hmm?
Um, and I just thought that was pretty interesting considering Nanami, like obviously he's a very like reserved, relaxed person. He's not out here on some I am the honored one. All of you are fucking fodder for me. Um, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Um,
And
so
yeah, I think I definitely think that Uro had it correct when she was like, to reach the level of natural calamity requires you to enter a very specific kind of headspace, and it's one that I'm very excited to see all these characters approach or just flat out just jump into, full speed ahead,
mhm.
to various degrees. Um,
Question,
what's up?
something that just occurred to me.
Hmm?
Okay, does Uro not say that she's seen a natural disaster like that?
I think it's not
That
that.
like
I think it's implied that she saw like like full form Sukuna, like 4 arms, 2 faces.
okay. I
But
was about to say because if not, if they're in a different time period,
right.
I'm like, is that implying she's seen like a Sukuna level person in her own time period? I'm like, I, wait a minute,
Yeah, that's
like,
yeah, that's crazy, right? Because I'm wondering about that now, and it was just a visual thing. I think Gege might have been okay. He's either fucking around or he was just using it as like show don't tell, right? Because it might have been a mislead, to be like,
yeah,
yeah, this is what I want you guys to picture. But for Uro, it could have been somebody like, uh, just stronger than her has reached natural calamity.
yeah,
But I feel like natural calamity has only ever been used to describe Sukuna in his time, right, in his heyday. And so it
yeah,
seems like that's the kind of verbiage she'd use if she had a first-hand account of it. Um,
yeah. Which is, do we know what time period she's from? Um,
her ties to the Fujiwara and thinking of Forum Sukuna. Yeah, X-Men. I didn't think of that. It's not just Sukuna, right? She's referenced to other like artifacts of that time or other people that were
okay, all right. Were
prominent.
the
Yeah.
were the Fujiwara 1,000 years ago though? I guess like that's my question.
Ishiwara and Kashima were alive at the same time. Kenjaku told Kashima Sukuna died 600 years ago. So yeah, okay, interesting. So I don't think Ishigori knows who Sukuna is.
No,
And
he shouldn't,
yeah, right,
because
but
Hashimoto doesn't.
right, but then wait, no, but that's how would Kashimo even know about Sukuna if not for would it be like a sorcerer myth kind of
It's
thing?
it's only Kenjaku. Kenjaku said that Sukuna is the strongest, so he's like, okay, I want to fight him. He probably doesn't know anything. He probably just trusts Kenjaku was correct.
Wait, so why wouldn't it be like, hey, Kenjaku, who's the strongest guy like of all time? And he's like Sukuna. He's like, okay, I'll go fight Sukuna. He's like, well, Sukuna's dead. You can't fight him. He's like, well, shit. uh,
Well, I am.
I imagine,
Yeah,
yeah, Kenjaku used it as a bargaining chip to get him to sign up for the Culling Games under the pretense that he'd be able to fight Sukuna in his prime,
yeah,
right? But it's still interesting that like he would know to do that. I don't know. Like it's an interesting like thought experiment to be like what like Reggie was what from 200 years ago. Kashima was
Ishigo and
400.
Kashima,
Yeah.
400.
So it seems to me that like just because they are sources of the past doesn't mean they're necessarily all within the same year or even the same time
Yeah,
period, right? They're still hundreds of
even the same
years apart.
century.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and so no way was Reggie 1,000 years ago. What?
no,
No.
Reggie definitely was not.
Yeah. Anyway, I just think it's like I feel like she's from the Meiji. Uh, I forget what era.
Mm,
No, wasn't it the Heian era? That was like Sukuna's era.
yeah, the Heian area is Sukuna's like golden age of sorcery. Um,
You know,
yeah.
I wonder how old Sukuna is before he got like converted into a cursed object.
Uh, yeah. I also wonder, do you think he came out the womb with 4 arms, or like was it like he like ate too many people? Like what we thinking?
All right, so okay, so I have a little on the spot theory that I want to share with all of you guys.
Okay.
Okay, so I'm excited about this one. So you know how
Hmm.
something I noticed about Naoya's appearance as a cursed spirit is that he still retains the top half of his human form and his cursed techniques like nature, right? That didn't like
Hmm.
leave when he died and became a cursed spirit. So it signals to me that maybe because of how powerful Naoya was as a sorcerer in his like human life, he was
Hmm.
able to then transfer some of his humanity or some of his human features into his cursed spirit form, right? And so,
Yeah.
what if, and hear me out, right? The scale goes up to the point where the more powerful you are as a sorcerer means the more of your human traits you can carry over into your cursed spirit forms, evolve within that form, and eventually kind of land on this like quasi human cursed spirit form like Sukuna had, right? Where he's maybe he chose to look that grotesque, right? Maybe the four arms and two faces were something he purposefully chose and like carved out for himself as like the image of Sukuna. Um,
Yeah.
or
I definitely think there's something because Kama makes mention of it that like now his ego or like his like sense of self was strong enough to come back specifically with because Kama's first thing is like why the fuck does he remember you, right? He's a
mhm.
curse now.
Yeah,
And he calls back to Rika. So I think it's a matter of like the ego in which the person died. In
yeah,
Rika's case would be the ego that Yuta superimposed
but
over her. Um
additionally, Naoya has like five forms that he transitions in and
mm,
out of, right? So there's that like cocoon form where his like thing looks like a skull. There's that like
mm,
warped giant face one that he was using this chapter
yeah.
as well. Then there's him kind of like popping out his face normally, and then there's the entire top half of his body being human. And I don't know if you guys noticed this. He still has his earrings and dyed hair. I don't know if his hair is dyed, but like the two tone color. So
Yeah.
it is very interesting that he's able to control his appearance to a degree because the only other cursed spirit that we've seen have that ability in any respect is like Mahito.
Yeah. Sukuna, in some respect, too, although that might be more how he interacts with Yuji as a vessel, like popping up eyes,
Hmm?
moving them around his body, shit like that, like moving like he just appears a mouth on Yuji's palm to like eat the finger or whatever. Um,
Um,
so like that.
do you think Kenjaku will grab Naoya? Oh, dude, if no way, because Naoya is dead right now. That was a headshot. He's over. But it would have been crazy if Kenjaku ate him. Yeah, that would have been absolutely broken. Also, we have like 15 more likes until 100. It's like, ooh, dude, I'm like my hands are sweating just looking at it.
Hey guys, please help him out. He's done for if you guys don't get the likes.
Bro, if anybody has seen Soul Eater, it's kind of like I'm Death the Kid right now, and the symmetry is just like speaking to me, screaming to me, calling me, beckoning to me.
Oh, bro. All right, he's actually really losing it, chat. Please. Miwa next, right? I think we're gonna cook a little bit more before we see Miwa. Maybe not, but
Uh,
I
uh,
think we might take a step back. If we do see Miwa, it's probably gonna be like for more like establishment of like how Sendai is looking now, things like that. But I think we're gonna probably pull back a little bit.
yeah,
Um,
he's saving Miwo for the end game.
No, yeah.
Does Hikari need someone in his domain to be able to gamble? Example, oh yeah, that would be kind of cool. Like, does Hikari actually need another party to do his domain, or can he just like use it? But it's like,
If he could, why would he ever not go into a fight that he knows he's going into without doing that already?
yeah, because I just realized Hikari's domain is like a always hit, not an always kill. So I'd imagine one of the limitations he imposes to make the domain more powerful is to have that be a pre-existing condition as the person's participation.
Yeah. Because like, how are you gonna gamble with no like? If he's the house, somebody has to be gambling with him, right?
Oh,
Um.
Siren.
Yeah, yeah. Yo, almost missed the stream. My brother in Christ. No. What's up, Tessera?
Uh, Still waiting for Nobara. Run my. I wish Kinjaku would have got Gojo's technique. Why is he not OP enough for you, dude? I'm number 86. Like, by the way, thank you, Adwell. At DME. I'm sorry if I butchered your name. We appreciate it. Um. Yeah, dude. 4 more likes till 100. Let's go. We're so close. Um. Where is it?
Y'all think Kenjaku can use Mahito's domain expansion? I sure hope not.
I don't see why not. He has enough cursed energy. He has awakened Mahito's capabilities. It could be. I see it as like being within reason.
Yeah.
You know.
Um. Yeah. Maybe.
Oh boy.
What's up?
All right. Before we sign out, is there anything you guys want to say? Oh yeah, we hit 100 likes. Thank you guys. Thank you guys. Um. Yeah. Anything you want to end on?
uh, Talk about MHA right now. No, buddy, you came like an hour and a half late. Um. Yeah, MHA was interesting. There we go. Yeah, I think good stream, good talk, good finale. I think I've come to the conclusion that I think I like the finale of this little this little fight for Maki. I will say my biggest complaint now that I thought about it, why no combo? But you know, that'd probably be my biggest problem.
I didn't
Overall,
realize you
good
were
stream,
riding
good
for
talk.
Kamo like that.
JJ should not have made Kamo the hardest character in the fight after that little fucking I'll let my allies burn on my ashes. Like, bro, all right. Anyways.
So wait, you're
Um
telling me all it takes for you is just some like a hard dialogue, which by the way, works for me too. That's not me putting you down, bro. Like I'm in
yeah,
that same
bro.
boat with you.
You can't show Kamo have that dog in him.
That
Fucking face down now, you'll be like, I'm completely fine with dying as so long as like my allies succeed. Like, bro, that's hard as fuck.
it
Like that's some listen, and it's not to the same degree, but it's a very similar sentiment to Yuji versus Choso, where he's like, I don't have to be the one to save Gojo. I just got to get rid of this guy and like die. After my liver fucking explodes, I go die in a corner or whatever. I don't know. There's something about that resolve that's just dope to me. I wish we would have gotten to see Kamo like kind of come in clutch.
you know what? I'm not discounting that this is the last we'll see of Kamo and Maki right now, or even the other two. By the way,
Mm-hmm.
Sword Guy lost the hand. Like
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
yeah. I don't think he has
Lost
reverse
his
curse
left hand
technique. Yeah.
particularly.
So
And I think someone mentioned there's a streak of people losing their left hands in battle
yeah.
or left arms.
So I
In
find
the
it,
so yeah.
yeah, I find it very interesting that he doesn't seem bothered at all by this because it's not like he has reverse curse technique or any cursed energy. So I don't know. Like I'd be mad too. Like I'd be mad. Like Toto was depressed when it happened to him. Africa, happy birthday, man. Um, uh, BR, you know.
Hope you have a great one.
Can't wait to see Yuji get knocked out on the floor of the train station bathroom. That's crazy. Oh, by the way, where is this one chat that like it caught my attention?
Hello. You just Could not hold out. Did the stream die? Yeah, I think. Oh, let's see. I think they're gone. No. Oh, okay. Are they alive? Are y'all back? Yeah, I don't know. I can't tell. Damn, bro. Oh, you're the only one we hear, Ronan. Oh shit. Okay, okay. It's my time, guys.
Oh, yeah, no,
League of
no, no.
Fans, rise up.
I had
Oh,
accidentally muted myself.
damn.
Calm down. All right. Can you guys hear us? All
League
right.
of
All right.
Fans,
Cool.
rise up.
That was a very fix your internet, dude. That is so wild. It says it's working. Everything's working on my end. It just occasionally stutters on fucking OBS. That's so annoying. This happened once before. MKK, dude, BR, where you at? Where's your thing at? No, they saying it's lagging again. Fuck. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Dude, what the hell is going on? That is.
Yeah, bro. You putting up me numbers in terms of internet connection, bro.
Yeah, it's not even just. It's crazy because like the reason BR sounds like he's underwater, as one chatter put it, which I forgot to like read off. But
Tester.
yeah, oh, then it's good. I ignored it. Never mind.
Yeah, just continue to ignore it. Who cares?
Yeah.
He didn't show up.
Okay.
He ain't supporting us for it.
Before the internet craps out again. Yeah. What'd you think of the thing, the season 2 core announcement? 2 cores, Shibuya, and hidden inventory.
I mean, last season was 2 cores, right? There's 24 episodes. Isn't that what a core is?
I think it just they split it up into like chunks. I don't know if the
Oh,
episode
okay.
count is like dependent. If it is, please feel free to let me know in chat. But I don't know for certain, which is why I don't want to
Yeah.
like commit.
Yeah, what's
to
a core? We're phony anime fans. All right, hold on.
Yeah, like
anime core.
But I
feel
think
like a core is like an amount. Yeah, so one season series, generally 13 weekly episodes, it is described as being 1 core long. Well, 2 season series of generally 26 episodes will be described as 2 cores. That's what Google told me. Oh, 2 consecutive cores, so it's 24 episodes, no break. So it'll just be like last season. I'm hesitant if that's going to be enough for all of Shibuya. So we can only hope.
Yeah. Emphasis on hope and only. But yeah, thanks anyway for coming out to the stream, guys. Sorry the end got a little weird there. We'll see you next week. Thanks for stopping by. You're the best.
Mm-mm-mm.